Hey everyone, I'm HammyD, and while I know this video is a bit late to the party, I wanted to go over some of the games I'm anticipating to be released later this year. A quick note before we begin, this is not a list of what I think are going to be the best games of the year, this is simply a ranking of the games I'm excited about. This is my own top 10 list. One of the main criteria I used for making this list was that the game had to have a guaranteed release window of 2016. It does not have to have a specific month or a date, just a window that it will be released sometime this year. A lot of games in the past month have been pushed back into 2017, and they won't be on my list. With all of that being said, let's get started.
Yeah, let's pick it up!
Number 10. The Banner Saga 2.
The world is breaking.
The Banner Saga is a visual novel Oregon Trail style game that takes place in a Viking fantasy setting. Boasting challenging turn-based strategy gameplay and tough player choices, the first game was an instant hit in my eyes. However, the original game left off a bit abruptly, and the Banner Saga 2 is set to pick things up and continue the story of all the beloved characters that were able to survive the first game. This game made my list because after finishing the first Banner Saga, I wanted more of the game. I did not want it to be over. I was thrilled to hear that the developer Stoic was making a sequel. More choices, more story, and probably more dead characters. The Banner Saga 2 sits at my number 10 spot and is set to release sometime early this year. Number 9. Quantum Break.
Paul came back. He took away the only person who could stop the end of time. My brother, Will.
I remember seeing the first announcement of Quantum Break at E3 2013, and being rather confused as the trailer did not say much about the game. A few years later, and we have some more details revolving around Jack Joyce and his ability to manipulate time. What excites me most about this third-person action game is that there will be a miniseries that runs alongside it based on the player's choices in the game. This title makes my list simply because of the sheer ambition from HammyD Entertainment and Microsoft Studios. It's about time we started getting games that feel like they are taking advantage of the next-gen technology. The only downside about this particular game is that it's set to be an Xbox One exclusive, which alienates a portion of the gamer and prevents it from climbing any higher than the number 9 spot on my list. Either way, I'm looking forward to its release in April of this year. Number 8. For Honor. It's not just the fact that I can play as a Viking, a knight, or a samurai in this medieval-inspired hack-and-slash game. It's also how Ubisoft Montreal is taking a new spin on this genre. Their new project features an Art of Battle combat system that will allow players to feel the weight of the weapons they're using by striking key points on their enemy's body. The combat in For Honor should feel authentic and fun. That is not the only feature being promised, though. In this team-based multiplayer title, the developers have also spoken about including a single-player campaign. This would be such a welcome sight, and a big change from last year when a lot of multiplayer-only games came out. For Honor finds itself at the number 8 spot in my list for improving on an already fun genre. This game is set to release sometime this year. Number 7. Final Fantasy 15.
Niflheim's forces succeeded in transporting the Lucian crystal out of the Citadel today. The Empire hereby declares control of the crystal. Meanwhile,
I'm thrilled to finally be able to put this game on my list, as all evidence is pointing to a release date later this year. I have been a Final Fantasy fan for as long as I can remember, and the last one I truly enjoyed was over a decade ago. Developer Square Enix has been offering bits and pieces of their game in trailers over the past year or so, and after playing the demo that was offered in Type 0 HD, I can now safely say that I'm excited for Final Fantasy 15. It looks to be a great evolution on this beloved franchise. With a new battle system in a modern fantasy setting, I'm hoping that this title continues the trend of brilliant storytelling that Final Fantasy fans have come to expect. While no release date has been set, the developers have spoken numerous times how gamers will be able to play the full game sometime this year. Number 6. Tom Clancy's The Division.
We are the Division.
Another game shown at E3 2013 that stayed in development hell for way too long is finally ready to be released. Tom Clancy's The Division is the third-person cover-based loot shooter that takes place in a post-catastrophe Manhattan. It will have players teaming up with each other to help take back the city from enemy gangs. The Division boasts an open world to explore, a load of guns to customize, and intense survival-style PvP in its Dark Zone. After playing in the closed beta, I'm really excited for its March 8th release, and I'm hoping that the developer Ubisoft Massive is able to deliver on this title. Number 5. No Man's Sky. Here's another game that I was not entirely sure what the premise would be, but over the past couple of years, indie developer Hello Games has shown us the sheer amount of ambition that's being put into No Man's Sky. In this first-person adventure game, the player will be able to explore a vast universe and name creatures and places that they come across. On top of all of that, the planets you discover will go into a massive database called the Atlas, which will record every player's discoveries, allowing you to see what your friends have been exploring as well. No Man's Sky finds itself in the middle of my top 10 list for the promise of infinite discovery. This game should reshape the future of the exploration genre and is set to release in June of this year. Number 4. World of Warcraft Legion.
The vengeance of the burning shadow has come.
I've been a WoW player since vanilla and return to the game every time a new expansion comes out. That's not the only reason that this game makes my list though. Legion seems like it's going to be a rebirth of WoW, as it's changing many of the core endgame mechanics and reshaping all of the classes. With a robust artifact weapon system, new dungeons and areas to explore, and the long-anticipated Demon Hunter joining the class ranks, Blizzard's new expansion should coax many players back to the world of Azeroth for another epic story and questing experience. Legion is set to release on PC sometime before September of this year. Number 3. Mirror's Edge Catalyst.
Personal freedom comes at a price.
The disorienting first-person wall running is back this year with a long-awaited sequel. The original Mirror's Edge was some of the best 5 hours I've ever spent in a game. The story was well told and the action was fast-paced. The only negative I had about the first game was the combat and how it kind of felt out of place. I'm hoping that developer EA Dice has found a way to weave fluid kicks and punches into the high-speed parkour system. Based on the trailers that we've seen so far, I think this to be the case. Mirror's Edge makes my number 3 spot because I've been anticipating a sequel since I first played the original in 2008. I'm ready for my heart rate to spike again as I leap from building to building in this new first-person open-world action game, set to release in May of this year. Number 2. XCOM 2.
For decades, we have operated in the shadows. Now that we have recovered our greatest weapon, the time has come to reclaim our world.
There's a reason that this video is releasing the day before XCOM 2's launch, and that's because it had to be on my list. The sequel to XCOM Enemy Unknown takes place 20 years after the events of the first game, where Earth is actually taken over by the alien threat. That's right, the canon ending of the first game is that we lost. XCOM 2 will have us taking Earth back with the same mix of tactical strategy and with even deeper levels of soldier customization. I could barely put the original game down for more than a couple hours, and I anticipate the feeling already with its sequel. All of the previews I've seen of XCOM 2 have made it look amazing, and I'm hoping that developer Firaxis can top their hit from 2012. Number 1. Overwatch.
The enemy is at our doorstep!
This will stop them.
Words cannot describe the feeling I had when I first saw the Overwatch announcement trailer at BlizzCon 2014. I watched it over and over and showed it to anyone who would listen to my manic ramblings. This game seems to hold everything we have come to expect from a Blizzard title. Interesting characters, an amazing world, fun gameplay, and a great soundtrack. My hype goes so far beyond all of the other games on this list that it had to be my number 1. I've only been able to play a couple of hours of the Overwatch beta, but I can already say it's going to be an amazing game. I have a lot of faith that Blizzard's going to deliver on this title. I'm more than excited to jump into the hero-based shooter with some friends when it launches later in spring of this year. I hope you enjoyed my list of the top 10 games I'm anticipating this year. There were many others that I considered, but just didn't make it for different reasons. If I missed a game that you feel I should be excited for, then let me know in the comments and we can always chat about it. If you enjoyed this video, then please hit that like button, and if you want to see more of my videos, you can always subscribe. Thanks everyone, and have a great day.